Right then, welcome back, and oh yes, do we have, well, we've got more of a treat for you than that bloke just got. We are doing a setup video for the 2019 Panigale V4R race bike. Now, the leaderboards are absolutely infested with this thing. It is quite possibly the quickest bike on the game. It is a handful. As you're witnessing right now, it is an absolute handful. It fights you, it bucks, it weaves, it wheelies, it spins the rear tyre up, it destroys rear tyres. In the wet race later on at Kanto, I just went for shits and giggles, nothing more, but in the wet race later on at Kanto, it absolutely marmalises the rear tyre. You could cook quite a hefty steak on it by the time we are finished. It is quick. I haven't used it for quite a while. It genuine, well, it doesn't scare me, that's the wrong word, but it is an intimidating bike to use. It does not take any prisoners. I've ran it without traction control the whole way round. There's no point doing a setup video and then, I mean, look at that. It's quick. It is quick. The Street Fighter, I think, is probably a little bit more wieldy with the higher bars, but this thing, all the way around this corner at Kanto, it just lights the back tyre up. Does not care. But anyway, enough of that. Where did we go? Well, first up, we went to Magny-Cours. I didn't have a specific track list in mind. I just went with whatever I fancied doing, some of the more sort of like favourite tracks that people ride, the big hitting tracks. The bike itself, someone who subscribes asked me if I'd done one, and I said no, I've just done the road bike. But penalties out of this hairpin apparently are now a thing. Never ran wide, never touched another bike, and got a 0.131 second penalty. It's that fast I kept missing braking points. It's just the rear tyre. Every track we go to, the rear tyre gets more and more and more abuse. We ended up on a 135.8, which, I mean, look at the rear tyre out of here. Yep, she's warm, she's really warm. It's actually spat me off. I had to do a little bit of a rewind and go through that bit again. But yeah, we did a 135.8, which was 93rd, but I was already 31st on a 134.0 with a very weird setup. I didn't really go back and have a crack at the leaderboards. It's so densely populated. Anything inside the top 100 is a good time. We went to Imola. Why? Well, it's in Italy and it's warm and sunny. It's an iconic track and, well, it's an Italian bike. So when in Rome and all that jazz. AI, absolute arseholes, to be honest. Did not care. They're all on fast bikes. Other Ducatis, the whatever the black thing is that you get for winning all the races, one of the fastest race bikes in the game. That's in there. It's just an absolute just nightmare of fast bikes. But we went to Imola, we did a 140.4, which would have put us 44th, and I came to the conclusion that the bike doesn't like bumps. This was the only track, by the way, where the front tyre was warmer than the rear. We did make a slight change after Magny-Cours. We knocked one off rake and trail and one off the front suspension just to try and move a bit more energy forwards because the rear tyre was getting absolutely lunched. Then we went to Portimao or Portimao or Porti Ketchup, otherwise known as the Algarve. We did the motorcycle circuit. We played ping pong as we left the line, and yeah, yet again the bumps were a bit of a factor. Setup not far off. Look at the tyres, both similar colours. The biggest thing was the speed down the straights. It was pulling the best part of 200 mile an hour before you got on the brakes, just before the crest down into that first corner, and she was quick. We ended up doing a 142.4, which would have put us 80th, again inside the top 100, heavily populated leaderboard, and this is in race conditions as well. This is not a flat out time attack. This is me battling with the AI and generally exploring what the bike wanted to do. Then, yes, I couldn't not ride this bike and bring it to Alton Park. Now, I was going to do the full circuit, the international circuit, but in all honesty, I'm not a massive fan of the left-hander before the shell oils hairpin, so I prefer island, so we did island. There are no braking markers. I mentioned it in an SP1 video a couple of days back. There's no braking markers down into this hairpin. So I just thought, sorry, I'll go down the outside, we'll go on the grass, we'll get on the brakes. Somehow I managed to get it stopped and didn't get a penalty. Sorry, Speedy, but yeah, handful, absolute handful. We ended up doing a 1:17.3, which would have put us fourth, 1.4 seconds slower than the road bike. So take from that what you will. I gave it a bit more support at the rear. I did a +1 to the spring hardness, rebound and compression, just for a bit more support. It felt like it was pumping, pumping at the rear. We then went to VIR North. It was carnage off the line. Again, the AI, just, I don't know what it is. I know, Speedy, you asked a question the other day where you said, is it the Xbox Series X or whatever? I don't know. But we did a 121.6, which would have put us 30th. Again, 5/10 slower than the road bike, which was interesting. And the bike felt okay. I didn't make any more changes. And then, just for a bit of fun, just to see where the 16,000 RPMs worth of V4 filthy Italian engine, what it would do to a wet tyre on a drying track. And the answer is plenty. But first of all, we've got to get past all the spear tackles that people were throwing about down into the hairpin. Yes, plenty. The back tyre got absolutely pumped from start to finish in places that it didn't want to get pumped. And it just got hotter and hotter and hotter. I mean, look at it now. It does not enjoy the amount of grunt this bike's got. We did a 139.2 on wets on a drying track, and that would have put us 11th. There is potential in this bike. It's, like I say, it's probably the fastest bike in the game. However, it is a handful. You have to be on your game to ride this thing properly, get a fast time of it, and, well, be an absolute lunatic and not use traction control. So, how do we get on with it? Well, that's the setup. It isn't as extreme as some. There are a lot of the Hondas are quite extreme. The wheelbase on the Panigale is quite small. It's a V4 engine, so it's compact. So actually your triangle between wheelbase length, so the centre of the front spindle to the centre of the rear spindle and the centre of gravity, is actually quite a tall triangle, which means the bike changes direction quite well. Downside is it likes to wheelie, and it will, if you don't have the traction control, and marmalise the rear tyre. So pros, it is very, very fast. It's got such good traction as well, not at the top end. We're talking from sort of like 8,000-9,000 RPM. It just grunts all the goodness of a V4. It just fires you out of corners. And it's a 16,000 RPM V4. It is literally an engine created by the gods. It is fantastic. Cons, it's hard to ride to its full potential. It's quick, and because it's quick, your braking markers are way before they are on most of the bikes. It's snapping sideways, there's energy going into the tyres that other bikes can't generate, so you've got to think about your tyre compounds, you've got to think about how hard you're running the front spring. Because it's a race bike, you can adjust the rake and trail, I get that, and you can tweak it and play with it as your heart's content. It's very easy to get into a mess with it. So adjust one thing at a time, go steady, have a go with the setup and see what you want to do. The biggest con, well, it destroys rear tyres, which you saw at Kanto. That's not really a con, that's just fun. But the biggest con is it dominates the leaderboards. You have got to be the fastest person on that motorcycle to get anywhere near the top 10, top 25, top whatever. Inside the top 100, you are doing very, very, very well. It is a blessing and a curse in the fact that it is an incredibly fast motorcycle. So just approach it with a pinch of salt and a little bit of expectation management. Enjoy riding it, but don't expect to go flying into the top of the leaderboards, because all the tracks that you love, everybody else loves, and it is a fast bike. So just be aware that just because it's quick doesn't mean you're going to be in the top whatever. Any questions? No? Good. Thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving me all the comments and the feedback on the other videos I've been doing. I absolutely love replying to you and laughing out loud at some of the things that you say. It's absolutely mega, so thank you very much for cheering up my days after a shit 14 hours at work doing a job that I love with all of my heart. Not. But yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to leave me a like, comment, and if you've enjoyed it, subscribe, because we're going to keep doing them. I'm going to bang these out until there's no more setups to do, and then we're probably going to do some more because I'll have found something else to do as well. And there you go. So thank you, and fingers crossed I will see you next time. Take care, stay safe, peace.